Can I say first of all, thank you very much, Bruce, for coming along tonight. Oh, I've been wanting to get a lot of people to come and do this sort of stuff, so it was sort of a coincidence more than anything. I'll claim that Bruce has prepared it especially for us, but it's worked really well because I really want to focus on this over the next 12 months. We won't do it every month. November, we've got Kevin Devney giving his view from the point of view of a dealer, and he'll talk about a lot of the finches that we've lost now, and what he imported and exported and all the rest of it. And I'll try and control him. Early next year, I've spoken to Ray Ackroyd, who everybody would either know or know by reputation. He's going to come and talk to us about trapping finches in the old days. That's what I want him to focus on. But he's also got some video footage, he's got some footage and photographs from when he was actually trapping them in the past. But he's also got some video footage of recent trips and finches in the wild, where he's taken tourists and things like that. So that's going to be fascinating to see as well. In some time, probably. Thank you, Bruce. I don't know that it was really planned that way, but first in our history of agriculture.
Yeah, I'm not the oldest either.
Thank you, Bruce.
Not a problem. Okay, yeah, well, I've been coming to this pub on and off for a long time. Most people took at started off with birds like zebras, as you can see up there, working up the black hockeys, all through the finches, right up the black hockeys and stuff. I've gone the other way. I've started with black hockeys and everything else, and I've come down to my main bird I keep now is zebra finches, and I'll show you the reason why later. But these are my aviaries. They're old, been around a long time. Shut up, shit. Not as old as you. The first row of aviaries on the front here, I had a split with my ex-wife a few years ago. Ended up with one little tiny lot of aviaries, kept a couple of zebras in. The second row of aviaries, I think is a better photo of them. That's the other big row of aviaries. The little row of aviaries in between were all for near femurs years ago. The first ever yellow red rumps were bred in there that would come from the wild. These are my other bigger aviaries. They used to be 4 metres square. Now they're 2 metres by 4 metres. That's the little row of aviaries again. Believe it or not, each of them aviaries, I have a pair of painters, pair of cordons, pair of ruddies, pair of show zebras, maybe a pair of parsons, but in there to be 4 pair of birds. I breed more birds in them little tiny aviaries than I breed in all big aviaries. The little tiny doors you can see across the top, just down from the top, that's a feed station for their soft food, their maggots, their cucumber every day, so I don't put in the aviaries. The other one you're seeing on the bigger aviaries, where there was a green metal lid out of each door. He made Davey, he made them for me. They also have a tray in them, which I think I'll show again in a minute. I'll show you in a minute. And that's so I don't go in the aviaries for week after week. This is my old bird room. Well, it is my bird room still, but I had cabinets all the way along. I've now changed it, and a bit of a reason I changed it. 6 aviaries at one end of it. I got convinced by Mike Fittler that he was bringing back all of the Peter's twin spots from Queensland when Wendy Lowe got out of them, and I had better make room for 6 pairs. So I said, okay, put these aviaries in, put the 6 pair of Peter's twin spots in. Peter's twin spots are a problem bird at any stage, but they always nest on the floor right near the door, every time, never anywhere else. 6 pair went to nest. I haven't fed white ants to my birds in 30 years. Went out, collected white ants, fed them white ants, crickets, mealworms, maggots, everything they needed. One lot hatched young ones, other 5 pair had infertile eggs, pair that hatched young ones let them die, and then the parents started dying one after the other, so the last 6 got taken back to Mike's, and now there's 1 bird left, which I'm catching out next week. They are virtually finished. That's just inside the cages. I just use them as holding cages now. The next slide is just my Maggot Box. I played around with these for a while. I breed roughly 3 kilos of maggots a day now. I turn over a lot. That box is made, if anyone here knows anyone who plays around with horse floats, they now make horse floats out of this material. It's 40mm thick and it's insulated. It's smoother than any of the timber you'll ever get. You can just wash it clean, wipe it clean. The best stuff you can ever build your fly boxes out of. That's just the top of it. I have fly screen wire on the top, so when I take the trays out of the bottom, I then tip into a cat litter tray and stick the cat litter tray in the top and just keep turning them over. That's my feed out every day in the big aviaries. Sprouted mixes, I used to use the frozen green seed, but it's just too hard to get now, so I use my own sprouted seed. Frozen peas, the cucumber, the maggots, Merlin. Now I don't use bushfly maggots, I use houseflies. 18 years ago I went around my house, caught 5 flies, put them in a box. That's how I started, and never. I have bigger maggots. Even Mike Fittler came down the other day, last Sunday week. He took home a heap of them because he's now going to convert all his fly boxes over to house flies because they're bigger and better. And I reckon they breed a lot more. That's what goes into the smaller aviaries that you see in the little tiny feed stations. Just every day, I can go around all my birds, and I've got 27 aviaries. I can feed the whole lot of them in 20 minutes because you can do it all from the outside. Now for some birds. I love my bloods, I really do. I bred both the white-bellied and the black-bellied. One of my aims in keeping birds for a long time was to have kept and bred every Australian finch, every subspecies of all the Australian finches. And up until about 6 months ago, I was down to not breeding lesser red brows, beautiful firetails, and red-eared firetails. By now I've got red-eared firetails, all I got to do is breed them. And the lessers, I've also got lessers, just a female blood. Some of these photos are old, some of them are mixed in with new ones. I've actually being coached at the moment by my mate Mike Fittler on photography, and some of the photos I'm now taking, I've gone in leaps and bounds since Mike started to show me. That's one of my old white-bellied bloods. The last of my white-bellies went to Craig's Merley in Melbourne. Another bird I really love, diamond sparrows. I only keep pure normals, I don't keep any others. Just love them, I think. You know, colony them in an aviary, on the floor is magnificent. Can be a bit pugnacious at certain times, but I've changed a few things this year, and I've just got to colony them in an aviary with nothing but other bigger birds that won't be intimidated, such as Crested Finches, Mexican siskins, stuff like that. That is one of the former ones I had many years ago, but I don't keep anymore. All my birds got rid of anything that had any mutation in them. Stars, played with these stars for a while. They've completely all red down the front of them. I have been a showman. I've shown birds right back, Stan will remember. I've shown birds in Sydney and Newcastle for something like 40 years. And there's certain things in birds you look for, you breed to improve. We bred this red into the head, but it continued down the front, and they're no good as a show bird. Not very clear that shot, but that would be a better show bird than the other one. Good face, good spots all over it, good colour.
Is that a male?
That was a male. This is a bird we've played with and I think we've gone too far with, and that's the painteds. I will say nearly every painted I've got now is like this, full red fronted, but we're losing all the spots on them. Trying to put it back on is a little bit hard, but you got to play with hens like that bird there. You can get the spots back on, but it's going to take a little while. The fawn painteds that are around, it's a funny story about them. Sam was talking about Russell Kingston's book. Anyone who's got it, you open up to the painted section, it's got a photo of a fawn painted top bird, and it's got bred by Bruce Hockley. I didn't breed it. A bloke turned up at my place just out of the blue one day and said, "They tell me you've got reds." I said, "Yep, what sort do you want?" He said, "Oh, whatever you've got." I want to swap for some painters. He said, mate, painters are worth 20 bucks a pair. I'm going back 25, 30 years ago. He walked up with him and there were 2 pair of fawn painters, and no one had ever seen them. So I swapped him for a pair of superb blue rams. Off he went. Gave a pair to Vince Action, Joe's mate, and a pair to David Myers, because in them days I had a lot of trouble breeding painters. Within 2 weeks they'd wormed them and killed the 4 of them. So it's now they're back again, but I'd never bred them. Have played with Gillians. I don't keep them anymore. I have enough to do with the Save the Gillian Fund and with Mike. I don't need to have Gillians at my place anymore, but I've done the count in the Kimberleys twice, and we're going back up again next year just for a birdie thing, and they're still one of the best things to ever see in the wild. Probably my favourite bird of the Australian finches, red brows. Absolutely love them. But over the last 30 or 40 years, to actually find blokes who'd actually bred the things and not trapped them was very hard. The reason being, 90% of the people didn't know how to sex them. They all went by the red on the head, gold on the shoulders. That's a dead set breeding pair because the hen bird's got a different body colour. Completely different coloured bird. And everybody in our club and the hunter that I've given these birds to over the years has now turned around and bred them. Because I give them as pure birds. There's one of the young ones in the open. Just to prove red brows do breed. A bird I play with Melbers, this is just in there because I don't keep them anymore because I don't feed ants, and I really don't think Melbers are a bird that will brood without ants. They're one of the only birds I've found that's almost impossible. I've had them go to nest on maggots, I've fed them frozen white ants, but they just don't rear the youngs. I have heard of 1 or 2 blokes that have bred them, but very, very few. Another one of the red brow. This was a lesser red brow that I had a couple of years ago. I've since Gary McRae sent me over 3 pair last Wednesday. I picked them up at the airport. One thing about them, I don't think they're the same birds we had 30 years ago. I remember going in around Parmander's shop when he first got the first lot down from Cairns, first lot we'd ever seen. They were an unbelievable striking bird. The whole back of the bird was gold. The front was just like white. The red went all the way around the back of the head. They were very easy to sex because the cock had a black tail and the hen had a grey tail. But these ones they're breeding now, and even the 3 pair I got from Gary the other day, they're small, they are definitely a different bird, but you can't sex them the same. He had to get all his DNA sexed, so yeah, I don't know what it is about them, but they're not the bird I remember from having 30 odd years ago. One of my other favourite birds, Chocolate Parsons. For anyone who was at the Queensland Finch Convention, the Queensland Finch Club now has gone away from the Silverbill to the Chocolate Parson. There's a couple of scientists working on them up in Townsville. I was asked because they thought the chocolates were completely gone, the real chocolates. I was asked to send blood from all of mine to the research station in Townsville. It came back that all of my birds were an entirely different race of birds to what the birds were up in Townsville. So they think my birds, what I've got anyway, are the remaining left birds from around the Glen Innes area, because that's where I do know mine were originally trapped. But they're a great bird, Parsons, I just love them. The main reason we kept them in the years gone by, and Stan will tell you this, is because they were unbeatable on the show events. They just won show after show. Old George Pope, and a few others in the Cessnock, Newcastle area, they had Chocolate Parsons and just, they put them on the bench and walked away because they wouldn't get beat. My Fittler's bird that my Fittler absolutely hates. And it's a funny reason being, he got rid of all out of his around his aviaries and he was using for the research because he hates them because they're the ones that were making it so hard for the poor Gillian. I love them, I love yellow bill longtail. But Mike, as soon as he walks into my place and he hears a yellow bill longtail, he just shakes his head and says, let me at them, I'll get rid of them for you. He hates them. But they are lovely birds. Normal masks, I still keep these. I just love masks. They're in the wild, in the Kimberleys, at Parish Creek where we stayed for the first count. Every afternoon we'd sit outside, have a few drinks and stuff around the billabong. These things were all around our feet. They just were everywhere. They were just magic. Great bird. Good, easy, Avery bird. As long as you give them plenty of charcoal, plenty of emu feathers, they breed quite well. Pictorellas, never bred a lot of pictorellas. I've bred a few, but I wouldn't say I'm a great breeder of them. The problem with pictorellas at the moment is them and white-eared masks and yellow rumps. The people who are in finches for the money, when these birds got up around the $500, $600, $700 a pair mark 10 years ago, got hold of these birds, bred them up, produced hundreds of them, got to a point at our Singleton sale you couldn't get rid of these for $80 a pair. Now you can't find them again. Because once the money's gone out of them, the people get rid of them. When the money goes back up, you take another 2 years, when these are $400 or $500 a pair, all of a sudden there'll be hundreds of them again. Because one of my mates in Broke, he got run up by someone from down here the other day and got offered $400 a pair for any of them he had. So they're going to go up again. So, but great bird. One trick I did find with them, if you got hold of a pair of pictorellas that were fully coloured and you paired them up, you had about a 10% chance of breeding. You had to get uncoloured or half-coloured birds and pair them up half-coloured. And then you had about an 85% chance of breeding. Same David Pace in Melbourne, he does a lot of work that says exactly the same thing he's found over the years. Yellow rumps, love yellow rumps, great bird. Again, I look for birds that are going to be good on the show bands, so I look for birds that are what they should be in the wild, colour-wise, and try and breed that colour into them all the time. And keep it going. Let's show us a pair. Bird I don't keep anymore, chestnuts, but great bird. I'm actually supposed to go up the next couple of days to Wyong, just up from me. There's a large colony of these birds spotted in the swamp. They must be going to go in there to breed. They used to be up there in the hundreds many years ago. One of the other Finch clubs in Sydney, the Finch Exhibitors Club, had a meeting in my place many years ago at my old house. My rows of aviaries were 12 metres long, and they're all sitting there having a meeting. And someone said, "Oh, Bruce, one of your chestnuts got out." I said, "I haven't got any." They said, "Well, there's one on your aviary." By the time he finished saying it, from one end of the aviary to the other end was nothing but chestnuts lined up. They come and go in Gosford, and that was a few years ago now. Black rump double bars. This one was in the Kimberleys. Great little bird. This next photo, I absolutely love this next photo because we were sitting in the, if you can call it the resort, they call it Parish Creek Resort, it's no resort. But anyway, we're sitting in there having a couple of drinks. There's Elizabeth Light, Mark Jolly from our club, a couple of other people, and all of a sudden the sprinklers turned on. As soon as the sprinklers turned on, all these black rump double bars right outside the window. We just decided to have a bath. So I've got a photo. I'm just sitting in this puddle of water. Beautiful. Not a good photo of whitey mask. I've got another one in another thing at the minute, but that's just a bird I do. I actually found some young ones in the nest today of these. Getting hard to find again because the price dropped down to $70, $80 a pair. Everyone got out of it. A bit out of the thing, but Hex longtails, I don't keep them anymore, are a great bird, and there is blokes out there who specialise in them, but I find, same as Diggles and Parsons, I don't keep Diggles anymore, and I don't keep Hex longtails, because when you throw them in a holding cage, and you just leave them in there, you've got to have 2 or 3 holding cages, otherwise you're going to end up with some problems. Just another photo of a chocolate parson from years ago. When I judge any of the finch shows in the bush around the place, this is a bird that, if I'm judging, there'll be 30 of them in the class because they know I absolutely love comments. I've let them go in the last couple of years, and I only looked the other day and I'm down to 3 pair, so I've got to start breeding them back up again. But just not a pretty bird, but in an aviary, in the sun, I reckon he's a striking little bird. I love him. I was in Western Australia a couple of months ago, and in Western Australia, virtually every plumhead I've seen, and they have their Aviculture Society over there, if anyone's ever been there, they own their own building like this. They actually brought an old butcher shop. They've been paying it off over the years, and the 4th Sunday of each month, they have a bird auction at their premises. And it's like a shop and then a house, and they have barbecues. Virtually every plumhead that was there was a fawn. And was a wee little tiny bird like this. So they just got fawn into their birds over there and absolutely ruined them. Orange breasts. I do love the orange breasts again. Always been a good show bird, so always kept them. Last couple of years, haven't bred as many as I usually do, but probably need to just get some fresh blood. Another orange. As you notice, with the closed ring on it, all the birds I used to show, every bird was a closed ring bird. Because that way I can then prove that I actually bred the bird to show it, not like we used to. Kevin was here, he'd tell you. When the track birds from Western Australia would come in, we'd be lined up out the door, and you could just pick your whole show team out of his shop, or out of his backyard at Roosby, and at the original place, and that's what you used to show. But towards the end, it got to a point you just decided you had to go and breed the birds. Just a pair of milkers again. Lovely bird. You know, I think one day I hope someone cracks it with these getting on my maggots, because I would really like to keep them again. And they're a bird that is dying out. Someone was asking for some here today, and someone had a cock bird. I will probably tell you the reason they lost the hen bird, if the person did lose the hen bird, is because if these things don't have white ants every day of the week, right through their lives, the cocks kill the hens or the hens kill the cocks. It's something the boys in the coalfields found over the last 30, 40, 50 years. But because so many blokes in the coalfields are no longer feeding white ants, they're all feeding maggots, these birds are dying out even in the coalfields. So it's something we've got to look at and play with. Auroras, I have bred auroras on maggots. Last couple of years I've bred them. I've cut down on certain species this year, and they're one that has gone. But I know Gary McRae who's coming over. Gary doesn't feed any white ants over in Kalgoorlie. He breeds yellow-winged petilias, auroras, melbas. So they will survive and rear on maggots. Cordons, probably my favourite foreign finch. I've got them everywhere. I've got 18 fanfare up this year. One little thing about it, for any of those who were at the convention, and know Sam and Roy were, the blokes from South Africa were there. Walter, that gave the talk at the end, came down to my place on the Wednesday after the convention because he shows zebras the same as I do. Also wanted to see red-eared firetails. He didn't get heavy to see him in the flesh, wanted to come there. So he came down, had a look. Peter Fickman's wife brought him up, had a look around, and he walked past one aviary and stopped. Walked past another aviary and stopped, and there's only one of them small aviaries at home. I said, "What's up, Walter?" He said, "I cannot believe your cordon bleus." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "None of the cordon bleus we have in South Africa, even those that feed in my backyard, have as much colour and have a cheek patch like your birds have here." And he took a lot of photos, went back, gave a talk over at the club in South Africa. He emailed me the other night and said the boys want to know when they can import some of the cordons from here back to South Africa, because they are that much better than theirs. So it's just something. Cordon bleus, this is in one of those small aviaries that you've seen. It's only 1.6 by 1.2 by 1.8 high. 6 cordons every nest out of the pairs in there. And just shows you something there that you can 6 cordons the day they fly the nest for about the first week. 2 cocks, a hen, a cock, and 2 hens. But a week later, you won't tell them. So what I do, I've got 2 or 3 nests flew in the last couple of days. Tomorrow when I'm home, I'll be going along and putting pink rings on the hens and blues on the cockbirds, because in a month's time I won't be able to tell them apart till they fully mature up. But blue caps are exactly the same. You sex them the day they fly the nest. Blue caps. my nemesis bird. Love the things to death. Put a lot of effort and time and money into them a couple of years ago. Have terrible trouble in this country we do at the moment with infertility in them. One bloke in New South Wales breeds them. At the convention we seen, he had probably 60 or 80 young ones in the aviaries. But every time we buy any off him, this same gentleman, and he's a good mate of mine, can I get a fertile egg out of him? You have to then go and find someone else with blue caps, put their blue caps with his blue caps, and instantly you have fertile eggs. Why, we just do not know. So I'll be a sucker again soon. I've ordered 3 more pair off him. Jackaroonies, love jackaroonies. One thing that doesn't like jackaroonies, which I've just found out, is crested finches. I bred a few crested finches last year. Thought I'd pair up a few more pairs, and I have a pair of jackaroonies in every aviary. Within 5 minutes of putting these jackaroonies in one of the aviaries, the crested finch had both of them on the floor dead. They don't like it. So it's something I've got to be careful of. Straws, another bird getting scarce. You know, a lot of people have trouble with straws. They're getting very hard to find. And I hope they don't go down the same track as the green straw. And I will tell you now, Kevin Devney, he was a doer, I was a doer at the same time as Kevin. Anyone brought you green straws into your shop, you would tell them to take them away, you didn't want them. As soon as they put them into your cabinets in your shop, they would pluck each other, or even if there was only one of them, he would end up with no feathers around the back of his head and you couldn't sell him. So none of our schoolers wanted them in our shops. So they died out, and we're the reason they died out. So we just got to be very, very careful with some of these birds. This one, another one. Anyone that keeps them, keep them pure, keep them breeding and keep them going. Song sparrows, something I didn't play with until a couple of years ago. Mike had a heap of them up there, and I virtually, for Mike Fittler, whenever it comes time to clean his aviaries out and get rid of birds, it's my job to do it. I caught out 85 of them out of one aviary. He said, get rid of them. I kept 2 pair. I love the things. They are different. They build this huge nest out of sticks, like a bloody eagle. They actually carry sticks bigger than that pen. You wonder how they get them up there. Then they build a little tiny cup nest on the top of it, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. I used to shoo all the sparrows out of my yard. Now these fall, the sparrows come in. Something else that they're dying out here too, are sparrows. And Simon from that does the zebras at university, he's out there trying to track sparrows now to find out why they're dying out, because they're dying out in England as well.
Is he trapping them? Is he wanting them at the moment?
He wants, if you get in touch with him, he's looking for someone who's got chook pens or whatever that he can trap a heap to get blood and everything out of them, because he's worked out for when the Conservation Society, whatever it was, that released the green finches, goldfinches.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, to get to his place. I think he has worked out it took him 105 years to get to Broken Hill or something, but he wants blood. So if you ring him, he asked me the other night about it.
Yeah, well I know.
There's 2 species of sparrows here, one the
Yeah, house sparrow, tree sparrow. Yeah, the tree sparrow's virtually gone.
I see them up at Dubbo.
Yeah.
To
Well, don't tell many people because I'm out there trapping. They're the ones everyone wants.
There's a few people breeding pine sparrows.
Yeah, well, I remember going to an AFA convention many years ago in Adelaide, and they put on a big bird display show thing at the convention. I walked around and I walked past this thing and I went, oh. And this bloke had 4 of the most beautiful fawn sparrows I'd ever seen. Better than any fawn diamond sparrow. They were magnificent. And he trapped them in the backyard somewhere in Adelaide. I played with a few weavers, but not a lot. I think you have to be a specialist breeder. David Holmes was at my place the other night, and he said, do you want some orange bishops? I said, no. You want some? No, because you have to have that certain aviary, and you've got to put the time and effort into it, and I didn't. So I'd never done very well with them. So no use playing with things. If you find a bird that you aren't any good with, why ruin it? Let someone else have a go with it. This is a funny bird. It's not my bird. I used to keep Madagascars and I used to keep forest foddies many years ago. This bird can move to half and half because The forest spotty was a bird that's completely red all the way down the front, and as red as what that bird is. The Madagascar used to come down halfway, was a bit more orange, and had a browny belly to it. This bird's as red as any forest spotty I've seen, but it's got a blooming full belly. So, but it was at a mate's place, and I just took a photo of it because it was different. Can be savage, but other blokes I know keep in with other birds and don't have a problem. I do remember at Single and Sale last year, I think it was David Jackson had them there. There were some of the best forest spotties I'd ever seen. The hen birds were only half the size and black, and that was a pure bird we used to have many, many years ago. I didn't get a chance, I was working too hard to go and buy any, but they were a bird that was worth playing with. Regular systems, love them. Just talking to a couple of blokes tonight. I paired them up a little bit early this year. Didn't think they'd go to nest. I paired up 6 pair, I've got 5 lots of eggs already. And I reckon it'll be the cold night, once they hatch, I'll lose all the owners. Crested Finches. I got my first pair of Crested Finches at Gunnedah sale last year. Didn't know anything about them. Just knew that 20 odd years ago when they were $4,000 a pair, I loved them. When they were $400 a pair, I said I've got to have a pair. Took them home. Didn't even know what sort of nest they had. Just give them all the same stuff in with the diamond sparrows. Walked past the aviary 2 weeks later and thought, what on earth's that? And here's an egg that's bigger than a budgie. And I thought, what? Someone put a blooming budgie in your cage. Turned out to be these. They were the biggest egg of any bird I've ever seen for its size. Anyway, they hatched 2. Worse than jackaroonies. Within 10 days they're out on the floor running around. Didn't know what to do with them, kept picking them up and putting them back in. Must have had something on my hands, gave both of them eye problems, they both died. In the end, but I reared 7 of them. And I realised there's another 3 that I didn't rear that should have, because I didn't give enough live food. But really good parents, lovely bird. If you want to see them display, the cockbird's got this, when he puts his crest up, it's bright redder than a Coca-Cola can with a black stripe. If you want to see them display, just make the mistake of letting a red-headed parrotfinch in there. Because he'll chase it around with his flared up head, you would not believe. I don't know how I done it, just let this bird in. It was an odd bird I had that I put in the aviary. Well, I didn't chase it, but anyway. Great bird. I got 2 pair paired up this year and found the first lot of eggs yesterday, so just a good bird. That's the hen bird. Yeah, well, you go back 30, 40 years ago and I started a bird, just a bird that you always dreamed you might be able to have. Oh, now I'm out of pain, the bum bird, Peter's twin spots. Yeah, fantastic bird. I remember going to the first convention in in Queensland, the Finch Convention, and Mike had just organised to buy every one of these you could find in the country as a bird he was going to have as a project bird when he finally moved to Australia. He bred plenty of them, he got it down pat, but I'm afraid there's some blokes in Queensland with them, and there is someone in New South Wales with a couple of pair, but I'll never have them again, they'll break my heart. Silverbills. Told a couple of people tonight about silverbills that the Queensland Finch Club decided needed to save the silverbill. It was going to be a 5-year project. Hope they breed about 500 birds. They cut it off after 4 years because they've got 980 birds to get rid of. They can't get rid of them. So they proved that you can save a bird. The way they ran this project is a real feather in their cap. If any other club like this club or our club in Hunter picked a bird and ran it along the same lines as them, you could really do some good because they done a fantastic job with it. It was well done. But trying to find somebody, bird is getting hard to find again, unless you go up to Ken Wagland's in the broken head aviaries. How many reckon he had in his aviary up there? He must have had 40 or 50 of them sitting in the cage. I've got 1 pair this year, playing with them. I haven't bred them for a long time, so we'll see how they go. Now the rings. Many years ago I got right into softbills. At one stage I had 9 different sorts of wrens, 5 different sorts of honey eaters, the 3 different chats, plus other things that I don't want to mention, but a lot of other stuff. Bred most of them, really did love them, but then when I retired, believe it or not, I don't have enough time to look after them now. Because I'm doing too many other things, that something had to go, so most of the soft bills went. Redback wren, funny story about this one. Gary's coming over in a couple of weeks and you can ask him. He sent over 3 pair to Mike. For the first time ever, whatever, something happened on the flight. When I picked him up in the airport for Mike, there was only 1 left alive, a female. The other 5 had died. Mike said, oh, it's no good to me, you may as well take it, so I took it home. I put it into one of these small aviaries you've seen before in the bird room. It started building a nest on its own. So I rang Gary up and said, Gary, you haven't got any cockbirds, have you? He said, I just had some DNA come back. He said, I've got a 4-month-old cockbird. He said, it's DNA, he said, you can have it. I'll send it over, so he did. He said, but it won't breed for at least next year. So I put it in that small cage with her in the bird room. At least he'll keep her company. Within 5 minutes of being in there, he made it with her once. 10 minutes later, he made it again. They started building the nest. I said, I've got to put them outside. I put them out in an aviary. They reared 18 young ones before he ever got any colour. So he was just a good bird. He then coloured up into this bird the following season and just bred these. That's the nest of their young ones. That's the female coming out to attack me because I was getting too close to the nest. She was very, very aggressive. Oh, one other bird aggressive when it comes to being in their nest. The Crested Finch I showed before. I've showed a few people that come around home when he's got young ones. If you pick up the young ones, bring them on the floor and they squawk, you have to turn around and put your hands like that because he'll fly out of the bush and hit you right where it hurts. Every time, he never misses. He is the best shot I've ever seen. Splendid wrens. I've bred them for a long time. I love them. Absolutely gorgeous bird. Just being in Western Australia, like I said, and to see these birds in a restaurant, you're sitting there having coffee, and you let a couple of crumbs fall on the table and Lucy's laying on the table. They are just phenomenal. Variegated wrens. The first wren I ever kept was variegated. A lot of the old people here remember Mount Penang Boys Home, where all the bad boys got sent from Gosford. My next door neighbour was one of the screws, look after the kids. He came home one day and said, oh, one of the mongrel kids kicked this nest over. He said, I don't know what they are. So I hand-reared them. Turned out to be variegated wrens. And that's how I started. And they turned out to be 2 hens and a cockbird, and that started my colony of them off. And bred them for many years. Scarlet honey eaters, got rid of them last year, got rid of my last pair. Was up at my mate's zoo in Cessnock the other day at the Hunter Valley Zoo and brought back 2 more pairs. My wife better not find out. Great bird, no worries, very easy. As long as you give him plenty of vinegar fly, a good nectar mix, and I was talking to Sam about the other night. In Avery Life, there was an article written by a bloke in Newcastle who I don't even know. Sam knows him. Breeds these birds. Found out there was something missing in our food for our honey eaters in Australia. Turned out the thing that he found out that fixed it was Barocca tablets. And mixed Barocca tablets in the nectar mix. And I've been doing it for these the last 2 weeks and they absolutely love it. It's got all the amino acids, all the stuff they need. So you mix your nectar mix up and put a Barocca tablet in it. Fabulous. I keep 2 pair in the 1 cage. They chase each other, they don't worry anything. Crimson chats. Kept and bred them for many years. Great bird. I will have a lot of them to get rid of in the next couple of weeks if anyone's want any, because I've got to go to Mike's and clean the aviaries out, and I reckon there's about 45 young ones. Orange chats. Again, We had them many years ago. Sam's got them. Black and white chats, which I think I might have a photo later on then. Great little bird. A thing that Mike's come up with, and I'm now doing it, and a few others doing it. We used to feed these mealworms, maggots, crickets, all that sort of stuff. When the maggots turned to pupae, you threw them out. You don't anymore. Get one of the boxes like you have for the crickets, the tubs, put a lid on it, drill a hole in it, fill the bottom of it full of the old pupae, stick a stick in it. Because the flies can't fly for 3 days after they hatch, they walk up the stick and you see the chats just sitting around it. At Mike's place anyway, not mine, but you'll see 10 chats all just sitting around the box, waiting for each fly to walk up the stick, and they find out which one gets it. And it's a real good source of live feed. Recap ring. Bird that Mike will say is the ones Finch he's had, or the ones soft bill he's had since he's come to Australia, that he can't breed. And I come up, I couldn't remember what I used to do that was different years ago, and I remember it the other day, and I was running up and told him, they will only go to nest if you find black house spider webs. And you can go out to all the bush, you catch all, get all the webs you want, put them in, they didn't used to go to nest. You go around the windows like here, find the webs around here, put that out there, for some reason they go to nest. So, it's just something about it. So for kingfishers. Again, anyone who was on the tour to the convention, we went to a bloke's place in Dunbible, Jeff Bray. He had sacred kingfishers, he had forest kingfishers, he had a lot of good birds. I think there's a lot of photos in your new magazine about it. All of them sacred kingfishers come from these birds. What happened was the president of our Abbey Club in Gosford many years ago, typical Finch man, used to use the white ants nest, used to get the tree ones, chopped down a tree one night, nest, out fell 4 babies. One died, brought the 3 onto the meat and said, anyone want these in baby kookaburras? Silly me, I'd rear anything. So I hand rear them, they turned out to be kingfishers. I thought, I'll never breed, I just left them in an aviary, they just lived in there. 12, 18 months later, one was missing. Must have got out. Oh well. Next day I walked past, 3 back there again. Next day I walked past, one missing again. Went in, and all that was in there was a couple of little tiny finch nest boxes with a small hole. I've opened one up and here's the female sitting in there on an egg. I thought they were joking. So I turned around and my mate got a box, a bigger box, went and crushed up an old termite mound, put it in, and next minute they started laying eggs in it, started breeding. And they are the ugliest of any bird. Parrots are pretty compared to these when they hatch. But they're just a great bird, and I bred these on and off for years and years and years. That nest box is very clean. Anyone who's ever kept these would say, oh, there's something wrong there because that nest box is clean. I have lung problems. My daughter had to clean these out once they got to this stage with their pin feathers, one day you'd be looking at them, they'd be all pin feathers. The next day it'd be nothing but talcum powder in their nest because they'd shed the whole lot. And she's looking for them, but they're just a great bird. I think they're just something I would eventually get back again one day.
Green-winged pigeons.
Yes, I should have chosen that. I'll go back. I'll just go back. My mate reminded me about this bit back here for a reason. See the green-winged pigeon here?
There's 2 of them there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a pair. What happened was, I had a Finch Club meeting in my place this day. Was a bit late feeding the kingfishers and everything. Went out, the 2 baby green-winged pigeons were gone. Some bastards knocked them off. And I'm up, who would have got in and knocked them off while I wasn't watching? So I've had the lid up of the kingfishers, and here's the feet of the green-winged pigeons sticking out of their wings. They got hungry, so they fed them to them. So it wasn't it was them. So, yeah. So I had to make sure you fed them on time, we were in trouble. Now, the first slide I showed you was my zebras. A lot of blokes laugh at zebra blokes and laugh at $2 birds. I just built this lot of suspended cages to put zebra finches in because anyone who went to the last national at the Lake Macquarie a couple of months ago, a month or 6 weeks ago, would have seen some of the zebras go for $400 a pair at auction. And I took 5 pair to Queensland last year and took home over $1,000 for 5 pair of zebras. So 5 zebras to me make me more money than any of my finches do. But then showing birds again, just some of the show birds I used to have. You know, you look at a bird there that's got good spots, good everything. I reckon anyone can be a finch judge. All you got to look for is if a bird's got to have spots, it's got to have a red face, it's got to have a green back, it's got to have a yellow bird. Whatever's got the best in the best shape's got to win. So, just an old chocolate parson. That's probably a 30-year-old shot. Yellow rumps. This yellow rump was funny. He would come up, win his class, win his special. When he came up a champion, he had heartworm. And anyone who's ever had heartworm, their birds, doesn't affect the bird in the aviary, because you put it in a cage and he gets agitated, he starts throwing his head back. This bird would just throw his head back and fall off the perch. Just keep falling off the perch in front of the judge and they put him down every time. So, but it was just something that used to happen. And Clive McCauley, if someone plays here might know Clive, was up in the Canary and Cage Bird Federation for many years. Used to have a girl in that used to not throw its head back, would throw its head forward. And he would throw it forward but never let go of the perch. And he'd go around the perch and come back up again. He'd be there trying to judge you and just keep going around the perch and back up. Around the perch and back up. You'd just be driving insane. Ruddies, you know, like the birds we had 30 odd years ago, 40 years ago, ruddy cockbirds and hen had spots like this. Fine ruddies like this now. I have got them like this, I've bred them back again. But one of the biggest problems we've had over the years is most people breeding finches don't look at what they're putting together to breed a good bird. They just put 2 cordons together, 2 orange breasts together, 2 ruddies together. As long as they breed birds, they don't care. Show people over the years, say, I want spots on my bird, so I find the bird with the best spots. I find the cock with the best spots and put them together. And I think we've got to get back to that sort of stuff if we want to get back to birds we had 30 years ago. Another good starfish, probably the same one. Another good parson. And of all things, a zebra. I had to show the last one was a zebra. It's not a good photo, even though he won the national, it's not a good photo of him. But then I think, how do I get back to that last one? Go in. Up here. Aha. Yeah, the file. We'll get it. And then.
You want a 5-year-old?
Eh?
Is that a 5-year-old?
Mate, bloody oath I do. Just need the next presentation, Sam. Yeah. There's just a few more birds I found some photos of the other day, and I put them on just to just show you quickly. Yeah, that's it. Just because some of these birds we've now lost, that's all. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, mate. Beautiful. Alright, Scarlet Honeydews again. Just love the thing. They're a great bird. Anyone who wants to play with a soft bill should play with them. They are really worth the effort.
They're really tame too.
Tame is bloody.
Amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They'll come down and eat out of your hands.
Yeah, and like I throw a handful of maggots in every day. People say they don't go on the ground. I throw a handful of maggots and they go down the ground every day. They love it. They hop around. You go in the aviary, they're bouncing around you. This is my latest acquisition. And everyone says they'll break your heart, and they do. I bought 3 pair, I've still got 2 pair left, but just a fabulous bird. A very different bird. Something I've sat and looked at in my aviaries more than any other bird. I've sat and watched these birds. They eat no live food. I went and picked bucketfuls of seeding grass and froze it so they'd have it. They don't even look at it. They just love anything that's leafy, like bok choy. You put a piece of bok choy in, they will come up before you even get out of the aviary. They'll be up there and they'll just completely strip it down to the white. or they'll first up, they'll fly up and they'll squeeze the bottom of it, where you've taken it out of the garden. They'll squeeze and get all the juice out of it. A very, very different bird.
Have you got them on their own, Bruce, or?
Yeah, we've got one pair on their own, one pair in the mixed collection. Yeah. The one pair is not on their own now, they've now got a pair of lesser red brows in with them, because David Myers, who was a bloke who originally bred red ears and beautiful's on licence to the CSIRO, found that when he had red brows in his aviaries, when the firetails, both the red ears and beautiful's flew, the red brows fed the babies. And they did it with every nest he ever flew, they fed the young one. So that's one of the reasons I've done it. Just another one. That's in the wild, that's in Western Australia. That's one of them in my aviaries. So he's got a bit of chickweed in his mouth. You put a bit of chickweed in there, or a bit of winter grass, they'll just devour it. They won't eat the seed. And the same with thistle, you can put a thistle in there, they won't eat the flower head, they'll just eat the leaves. So they need a very high protein diet, and they love aniseed. The seed, you can buy aniseed now. If you can't get aniseed, go and get some aniseed oil that drops from the health food shop, drop it on your seed and mix it in, and they'll devour the seed straight away. That's another one that comes up now. Blue caps. A bird I only ever tried once, didn't do any good, messiers. They're virtually, I don't think there's any left in this state, is there? Does anyone know of any in this state? I think the last two pair got sent to Melbourne.
What about the last two pairs?
Yeah, they're going to Melbourne. The white on the side there, pintails, I tried them, but I didn't have success. And to keep them with having 10 and 15 pair of St. Alunas in an aviary to breed two whiters. I know Sam's got them, and good luck to him, because I just couldn't play with them. Magnificent bird, don't get me wrong. I almost had a pair a couple of years ago by mistake, catching out all these white-bellied munias and stuff at Mike's. Anyone's been to Mike's to the open days where the aviaries go down to the mountain, he has these little cages where you drive the birds out and they get into this holding cage and someone has to climb the ladder. It's always me. And I'm pulling them out and handing them down to Mike, and Mike's putting them into the carry box. And he's letting go to what he wanted to keep. When I got all the way home to Gosford, I let all these 50 or 60 little white-bellied munis into a cage, and here's a bloody pink-tailed white hen. I said, run him up. I said, I don't want this, Mike. He said, no, you better come and get the cockbird to go with it. No way, I didn't want it. They're a magic bird, but look, those blokes who play with them, I have a lot of time, they're a great bird. Just more systems. Funny thing today, and everyone is having trouble with seed at the moment. Up home anyway, finding it hard to get good seed. We all got told that all the seeds getting imported into Australia is being radiated or whatever, so it won't sprout. So with the siskins, we always had to make sure we got Australian Niger. Mate of mine rang me from Bathurst the other night, and his local produce shop had a special on seed, so he went down to get some. They had panic and millet, product of India. I said, don't buy it. He said, no, I've already bought it. I said, it won't sprout. He rang me yesterday, he said, the whole lot's sprouted. So whether they're not radiating it properly or not, the whole lot of his product of India sprouted. So I don't know what's going on.
The bag I've got definitely doesn't sprout.
Does it sprout?
I've tried it,
Yeah.
And I bought it, I've just planted a kilo of it.
Yep.
Plowed, I don't know, a few hundred square metres and planted.
And it had product of India
The
on it?
Allenby stuff, I got the Allenby that I believe, well, Paul Keeble got it for me actually.
What is
I
it?
believe is the Australian Niger.
I
think we planted it a week ago.
Well, this was panic.
Yeah.
This is panic, not Niger, but yeah. Well, that stuff from Allenby Seeds that Paul got you, that was the last shipment we got down from Kununurra.
Oh.
Now, if you want Australian Niger, you can buy it because we're one of the blokes from our club, Mark Jolly, his cousin at Narrabri.
No.
Pretty
Spring
slow
Ridge.
started, isn't it?
Spring Ridge.
Yeah, first one.
Yeah.
He's now got it up there and he's got tons of it. I got a bag off the other day. So, green singer.
pre-soak it before you sow
Yeah, that's it.
Too late now.
it. No, it's
Feed
not
rate
bad mixture.
Don't keep these anymore, even though I love the things, but you can't keep with systems. That's all there is to it, they hate each other. Those who are old, remember the original large green single we had? I haven't seen it for 20, 30 years. When I was in Western Australia at this bird sale, I kicked myself still that I didn't bring them home. They had probably 20 pair of these at 80 bucks a pair. But there was one pair, that those that remember the original ones, they had a different bib underneath here, and on the bottom of their tail they had a white band. These pair over there were exactly what these birds, and I used to reckon they were the first generation or whatever out of the original large singer. And they were twice the size of the normal, so someone might still have some. Siskin again, good bird, I love these, I love Mexicans. I love all cup builders. Talked to someone here tonight, wish I could get hold of some red poles. The one bird I love, but can't get any more. Hex longtail, these are just better photos I found that I had from years ago. A bird that's, we've seen some up in Ken Waglands, Senegals. I remember Maxi Satori at Morisset. Anyone remember Maxi Satori? Maxi Satori is probably the biggest finch bird this country's ever seen. It was nothing for Maxi to breed 1,000 cordons, 1,500 orange breasts, 2,000 St. Helenas. He had one aviary at his house that was 100 foot long by 40 foot wide, and down each side of the yard was 4 25 foot square aviaries. And Maxi bred more, like I said, more birds I've ever seen. When the red-shouldered whites got smuggled in, Maxi got 2 pair. Within a year he had 170. He just fostered them under Madagascar weavers, just bred hundreds. Well, Maxi had probably 60 or 80 Senegals. John Butler had about the same. And as someone here tonight was talking about inbreeding, this is where inbreeding can be a problem. They would have been both better if they had kept their own strains together. They decided to swap half and half. From that day on, they never bred another bird. Because they put cousin to cousin and it ruined the lot. They would have been better off with brother and sister than cousin to cousin. And now, Senegals are very hard to find. St. Helenas, I do keep a few Saints. Just for the fun of it, I love them. White-eared Mast again. I hope some more people get into these because these are another bird that does need saving. Jackaroonie again. Or mate of mine in South Australia who's still got them. I was quite lucky. My daughter was a zoologist, and she worked at the time the Habitat Wildlife Park in Port Douglas. And she got sick of hand rearing these things. She used to hand rear hundreds of them because all the restaurants, the lights would be hanging down, and these things would come in and hang their nest. And they'd be able to, you try to eat your meal and the sunbirds would be feeding each other in there. So they used to, the restaurateurs used to take them to and stand rear them. So yeah, it's a shame because they are a magnificent bird. I reckon they would be exactly the same to keep now, if I do get them back again, as the skull honey. Be no different. Virtually that's all they are.
How many do you think are still in South Australia? Is there a few people with them or?
No, 2 people got them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's it. So, yeah.